What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back for another movie review. This time, I'm reviewing The Spy Who Dumped Me with Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon, man. Good old action comedy, man. Now, I grew up in the 80s. That means action comedies reigned supreme in like the 80s, early 90s action comedies were. One of the biggest movies of the decade was Beverly Hills Cop. Action comedy made crazy money. You know, people was like, yo, we gotta get in on this. You know, action comedies was just coming out. Red Heat, you know what I'm saying? Tango and Cash, Lethal Weapon, it was like, yo, Lethal Weapon got sillier as they went on. First one was pretty serious. That's my favorite genre. And like, when it's rated R, even better. I feel like rated R was more prevalent in the 80s because, you know, everything was just edgy, man. I remember watching RoboCop as a kid and I was like, that movie was super violent. And I was like, they shot his arm off, Mom. I was just taking it. They shot his hand off first, then the rest of his arm, Mom. Oh, and they shot him in the head, but he lived. I was taking all this in as a kid. And I was like, that's just what it was. Everything was rated R. And then they got all soft with PG-13. And I feel like when you do an action movie and you make it PG-13, you limit yourself. Then when you do comedy, you limit yourself even more. Now you got the action and comedy both limited by the rating. That's why I think, like, when I saw a movie called Ride Along with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, the action was soft because they wanted to keep that PG-13. Same with Cop Out with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan. They wanted to keep the PG-13, so the comedy was soft and the action was trash. I'm like, but now, Spy Who Dumped Me, rated R, the action is better. It's more violent. People getting their arms broke, hit in the face, bloody nose, you know what I'm saying? Getting blasted. And I'm like, yes, no restrictions. Cause ain't no restrictions in real life. If you see a Starbucks full of assassins, they get into it at the Starbucks that you always go to. It's gonna be unrestricted in there. If you in there, duck, but it's gonna be rated R in real life. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The movie's about this girl, she's dating a guy, he dumps her, and little does she know, he's a spy for the CIA. So she was like, what? So she gets caught up in this whole little big plot to secure something that so many lives are at stake. It's always mad lives at stake. Mila Kunis is the girl, of course. Kate McKinnon is her best friend / roommate. So they get into this mess together. And they gotta get out of it, you know what I'm saying? So they travel. Here's my issue with this movie. Main issue, how can they afford? Now Mila Kunis, she works at like a Trader Joe's type grocery store. They get into this mess, they gotta go to Vienna that day. How are you affording this plane ticket? I'm sick of this in movies, man. Y'all know how expensive it is to travel. You're always looking for deals, that's why Travel Velocity exists. You're finding a deal. You rarely book a flight internationally the day of. I looked it up online. A flight to Vienna today, like if they was trying to kill me today and I was like, yo, we gotta get out of here, we gotta go to Vienna. It's gonna be $3,400 for that flight. $3,400? Now mind you, I could afford it, but my soul is gonna be on empty. Like that's shooting me down for any plans for the rest of the year. I'm like, nah, I bought that plane ticket to Vienna, I can't. It was back in January, but I've been struggling ever since. That's real life, man. The action, I really enjoyed. They didn't tone down the violence. The action made it better. Kate McKinnon is hilarious to me. Kate McKinnon, like SNL, in my opinion, is like outside of like Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, and like, you know, the political, when they do like Alec Baldwin playing Donald Trump, a lot of the sketches are kind of, you know what I'm saying? They're not the back in the day SNL. But you got a few standouts. Kate's one of them. Every time she pops up on screen, I'm having a good time, man. She's funny. Mila Kunis is a good straight man, so I like the two in this movie. They had a good dynamic. I cared about these ladies. They were funny. And the movie also had Gillian Anderson, who you may remember as Scully from the X-Files, who I was shocked to find out recently on a flight on British Airways to London that she was British. I had no clue this whole time. I thought Scully was from North Carolina. I don't know what state she was from. I just threw that in there, just something American, maybe. I knew it wasn't Texas, but maybe like, you know, Virginia. She was from Maryland, Wisconsin, I don't know. But man, I was shocked to find, so to hear her talk in her regular tone, I was like, it's true, it's true. I was shocked, anyway. Did y'all know that? Let me know in the comment section below. But anyway, the movie. The movie is fun. The first half of it was great fun. The action was dope. The comedy was there. It was a great time. Stunts were crazy. The movie was loud. I liked it. Like, I'm an action head. Action is my favorite genre. Towards the third act, I got kind of bored. I was like, all right, you know. And it's hard for comedies to really clean it up in the third act. Usually a comedy's strongest parts in the beginning, the middle, and then the end, they kind of like, all right, we got to wrap everything up. You got to get serious, and then it just doesn't always connect. And that's what I think this movie suffered from. Granted, this is science fiction as far as I'm concerned. Like the situations they getting into, hella unrealistic. Leave your brain at home, this is not gonna really happen. All right, these young ladies probably would have died in the first 15 minutes in real life, you know what I'm saying? Just cause they wasn't ready for this. But the movie just ran out of steam in the third act, man. But up until that point, I was having a great time. I was like, man, what are the critics talking about, man? This is a good time. And then by the third act, I kind of dozed off just for a second. Just for my right eye got lazy and closed completely, but my left eye was still like hanging in there. Just for a second, though, just for a second. The review still counts. But it was just, it got slow at the end. That's my biggest issue, you know what I'm saying? What are some of the takeaways from this movie? I want this movie to be my springboard for my campaign to make traveling realistic and movie. I'm about to really shoot for this. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing it in romantic comedies where they living in a one-bedroom apartment in Manhattan, and they working at a grocery store, and then they just got money to travel like that the day of. I'm sick of it, man. Let's make this travel realistic. Like who's fronting the bill, okay? Second takeaway is Jane Curtin was in the movie, who you may know from SNL back in the day, you know what I'm saying? It was dope to see Jane Curtin play the mom of Kate McKinnon. They bridging the SNL gap. A lot of people don't know. Paul Reiser was in this joint. Shout out to the parents in this movie. Jane Curtin and Paul Reiser did a great job as the parents. I'd like to see more of them because they were funny and they didn't overdo it. Anyway, but forget all that. Y'all want to know the smooth jazz review of The Spy Who Dumped Me. Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving The Spy Who Dumped Me 3 saxophones out of 5. Let's see how much this ticket costs to turn all the way around. Purchase the day of. All right, some other movies in this vein: Central Intelligence with The Rock and Kevin Hart, and also a little jewel not many people have seen, Real Men with John Ritter and Jim Belushi. It's gonna be hard to find that movie because I'm always looking for it. But I remember really enjoying it as a kid, and the action was crazy. It just didn't do good at the box office. But it's one of my little gems that I really enjoy. Anyway, let me know what you thought of the movie in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Are you tired of people traveling in movies like it's cheap and they can afford it all the time? Let me know in the comment section below, man. As usual, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we out here.